Hello and welcome to the 7th EQD podcast. Today we will be talking about the great and powerful Trixie, much to my dismay. I am your host, NGnir, and we've also got Spone with us, as always.
I am your host. Also, NG, thank you.
Yes. I'm your co-host, but we've also got two guests with us, two Trixie fanatics. We've got User, one of the EQD admins, and Hithroc, again, someone from Maine coming down. So
Hello?
I'll start with some introductions as always, and I'll attack Hithroc first. So, Hithroc, I'll just ask you some questions. When did you first get into MLP?
Around 1 year and a half ago,
1 year and a half?
November 2016.
So one of the 3 people in the world who got in after Spone did. So, alright, how did that happen?
Well, basically, I haven't heard much about MLP before that, so it was kind of flying past me. But then I had to babysit my sister once, and my parents downloaded the show for her to watch, and I kind of watched her until the episode 10 of season 1. After that episode, I decided to watch by myself, and I watched it all in a week.
You just spammed all 150 episodes in 1 week. Okay.
Yeah, and then when there was nothing else to watch, I was like, really? That's all?
So what about it drew you in?
Sorry?
What about the show drew you into it?
I don't know, I really like many different aspects in the show. I really like the comedy. I think comedy is my favorite aspect in the show. But other things are great too. But really, in the episode 8, the turning point for me was why I decided to watch the show by myself is when I saw Pinky doing this Power Spite polka walking it. I don't know why this was the turning point. That's the moment when I decided I'm going to to watch all this show by myself.
Pinky is fantastic, and I can understand why you seeing her would be the turning point for you. So how did you find your way into the community? How did you find your way onto main chat, for example?
So I was a Redditor back then. I was quite active on different subreddits, and after I watched the show, I was kind of curious about the community, so I joined Reddit. I was quite a lurker there, but then I saw those episode discussion threads, and they were quite interesting and funny. So I decided to rewatch the show again while reading those threads, and this was awesome. And on the subreddit, people use those pony modes to describe different parts of the show or make jokes and everything, and I love that. That's what that's what made me want to participate in this community. And
using pony faces in general discussion.
Emotes made me want to join.
Yeah, pretty much that. And then aside from being a Redditor, I just got in Discord around that time for a different reason. And then I thought there's a Discord community for everything, so there's gotta be a Reddit one for My Little Ponies. And I searched for that and found main chat, and that's how I got into main chat.
Alright, that's a pretty reasonable origin story. A lot of people from Maine seem to originate from Reddit. Okay, so you're obviously a mod over there, before we get into the specific point MLP questions. How did that end up happening?
I have no idea. It's still a mystery to me.
So you just woke up one day and you were just green.
Well, one day Artix messaged me hey, do you have time to talk? I was yeah. And that's how that happened.
And then 2 people came together and produced a princess.
Yeah, one of them was Larson.
Alright, so MLP specific questions now. Who is your favorite pony? I think this one's obvious, but answer it anyway.
Maybe Trixie?
Maybe an uncertain Trixie.
Well, I was actually quite uncertain when I finished watching the show because, like, I consumed so much content at the same time. I didn't really have a shaped-up opinion about anyone.
You were just blasted with like 6 seasons of MLP. You didn't have much time to
Yeah,
decide.
yeah.
Okay, fair enough. What about your favorite episode?
Well, my favorite episode is from season 7, Uncommon Bond. I really like that episode for many different reasons, including Trixie, mainly Trixie. And I really like all of the Trixie episode, but if we discount all the Trixie episode, my favorite episode will be Amending Fences. I really love that one.
Amending Fences. Which one's that?
It's the one with Moondancer, where Twilight visits her old friends.
That one is quite a lovely one. I do like that. Okay, so some decent answers so far. What about final one? Favorite song?
My favorite song is Twilight's Failure. Not because it's Twilight's Failure, but because it's a very cute song. I loved it the first moment I heard it, and it's still my favorite.
So the second you heard it, you were swooned by this beautiful music.
Yeah, it was great.
You are allowed to use EQG songs if you want to throw Tricks Up My Sleeve in there. It's like the only song she's sung.
Yeah, I really wish we had more Trixie songs. But, Tricks Up My Sleeve is a great song. Yeah, I love it.
All right. Spone, you still there?
Yeah, I am here.
All right. Do you want to attack user with some questions?
Do I want to attack user? Yes.
All right.
All right. User, how did you end up here?
Well, first off, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Well, it all goes back way before Equestria Daily. I was originally a moderator on Pony Fortress 2, which was a TF2 series of servers that were run by Dragonlight. They focused on Team Fortress 2. One of our selling points was a mod where you had 2 ponies on each side, and they were heroes. And they were overpowered heroes, and the goal, besides playing the objective, was to try to count the other hero and whatnot. So I met Kat and some of the other moderators and administrators originally on Pony Fortress 2. But after all that died, when Dragonlight pulled the plug, Boar came in and converted the entire site to Friendship is Gaming, which was a precursor to the Equestria Daily forums. It was during that time I got to end up meeting Seth and a lot of the other leadership of Equestria Daily right now. And eventually, when we became the Equestria Daily forums, well, the rest is history. I mean, when I persuaded Seth Isto to get a Discord, and ever since then, we've hired some more staff, and yeah, I'm here right now.
Nice.
It's hard to explain a lot of this just because there's so much, and I haven't really prepared for this podcast.
Nah, that's all right. We like going in completely not super prepared. If you're super prepared, we don't want you just reading off a list. That's no fun.
Oh no, I'm just trying to think.
All right.
I'm trying to think of what's important and what's not.
And then, when did you start watching the show?
I started watching the show shortly after season 1 started, and in fact, I was actually and so this would have been around early 2012 or so. Before I went to PF2, I was a member of a community called Star Fox Online, and it was only after I started playing on the Pony Fortress 2 servers that I realized, maybe I could take a look at this show. Because back around 2011 or so, we were getting like bronies to our Star Fox server over and over and over, and it was so annoying. Then I found PF2, and I'm like, might as well just start watching the show. And I actually became a fan of Trixie before even watching any of her episodes. Because from what I heard about her, she struck me as someone who I would fall in love with immediately, and that's pretty much what happened.
All right. Now I see. Makes sense.
Mm.
And then, third question, favorite character, although I think we already know the answer.
That's a tough one. No, I'm joking. It's Trixie.
Do you want to, like, has it always been Trixie, or?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, her first episode was Ghostbusters, which was episode 5, so I got to got to love her pretty quickly.
Actually, I think it's episode 6. I'll have you know.
And did you go back and watch them all to confirm?
No, I looked at their wikis pages.
Oh, well, that's nice. Yeah, just ignore that in the background. All right, you know what, NG, you can go ahead and ask the last question.
Okay, I'll carry on. So what did we do so far? We did. Okay, so final question. Did we already do best episode?
Oh, my favorite episode?
Yes.
Probably both Busters. Probably Magic Duel. Just because I like Tricks. I liked pre-redeemed Trixie better than post-redeemed Trixie. I mean, they're both amazing, but I just prefer evil unicorns.
Okay, that's an
slightly
interesting
more.
opinion. We'll definitely go more into that later then. That was a funny episode where she like enslaved the entirety of Ponyville. That was.
Oh, that was just great. It's also to go off topic a bit. It's also why I liked Starlight and Sunset and Lightning Dust, but that's a whole different story.
That is indeed an entirely different story. Now, Magic Duel did not have a song in it, so final question, user: what is your favorite song?
Probably, like you said earlier, Tricks Up My Sleeve, and probably Our Town by Starlight.
Is that
in,
just
season
unicorns, or do you actually like the songs?
Oh, a bit of both. I actually like both of the songs. I'm not typically one for songs in general, though. This doesn't just include MLP. It's just in general. I'm not typically a fan of them, but I like those two.
Okay, those two are the ones that stood out to you, despite you not being an entire fan of the songs in the show.
Correct.
All right. So.
Hey, by the way, I'm back, NG. Surprise.
Hey, there we go. No more.
I had
no
to
more
go
crying.
smother something, but we're good.
Oh, quite dark. It's fine.
It's a joke.
I know. Don't worry. Okay, so now
The big
those
question, do
introductions are done. What's the big question?
You had to ask people how they feel about Trixie.
Okay, so yeah, both your opinions. You both love Trixie, obviously. So I'll go back to Hithroc. What is it about Trixie that you like? What was it about Trixie that drew you to her?
I would say it's pretty irrational. So let's start with that. But if we go back about something more rational, like I really like magic in general, like in the show and outside of the show. Like I like the concept of magic. That's why unicorns is my favorite race.
Magic as in like levitation, or magic as in like card tricks, like Trixie?
The fake magic.
Both. I like both.
Okay, fair enough.
And like that's why I really like unicorns in general in the show, and that's why I like unicorns more than alicorns, because alicorns feel to me like they're less magical and more divine. That's how I feel about them. That's not something that is canon. That's how I feel about them.
Okay.
And yeah, that is one of the rational things why I really like Trixie, because she's a really magical pony.
She's not though. Isn't it in the show that,
She's
that she's like having to learn magic off of Starlight because she's like that bad?
and that's great. She's learning magic. Did you see how she did the teleport spell on her first try? That was pretty impressive.
Well, when she teleported the map away.
The one where she messed up. Yeah, that one.
It's not a good thing. Okay.
Yeah, but it was on her first try.
It was like I can't remember off by heart, but I'll take your word for it. And user as well. What about Trixie drew you towards her? I think we just touched up on that, but yeah, do you want to expand on that? About what about Trixie made you like her more than everyone else in the show?
Well, like Hithroc alluded to earlier, I've been a fan of magic, unicorns in general, and she does have a lot of learning potential, I would think, given what he said earlier about the map and making it disappear and whatnot. Her color scheme, blue. I've always loved the color blue. Her personality, I feel, could be one where she can fit any type of role, and she can be really funny about it at the same time. But yeah, personality and whatnot, and that kind of accelerated after when season 6 started, when she became friends with Starlight. I thought that was probably the best thing that could ever happen to her in the show.
Being a regular more than just once every 3 seasons.
A bit more of a regular, but also because she has a friend now.
She does, and
she's appearing a bit more too, as opposed to 2 appearances over like 5 seasons, 2 real appearances.
Yeah, it's pretty sparse. You can't forget about her appearing in Ponyville 4 times in that one random scene. If I was
random.
True.
Spone, what about you? What are your general opinions on Trixie?
My general opinions or my opinion?
There's no difference.
Yeah, not really. I like characters like Trixie that are kind of assholes and antagonize people, but Trixie just is so fucking oblivious to it, and she's meant to be a good guy, and it just really pisses me off sometimes watching her. I would say that is my that's my overall opinion of her, is that she has her good moments, but whenever she's just oblivious to like the problems she's causing, I don't like that.
Okay, so general negative opinion. Fair enough.
It's slightly positive, slightly negative. Like there's some times where she's like really good, especially when she's like around Starlight, but then like in All Bottled Up when she's just oblivious to pissing her off.
Yeah, I do feel pretty similar to that.
What about you, NG, huh? Are there any notable occurrences that you have for your wonderful dislike?
I will say one pro before I get into this.
One pro, and then you have like a laundry list of negatives.
Yes, but I will get into more of those throughout the podcast. The
Alright.
pro is that she rocks that cap and cape combo magnificently. That is
Okay, fair
that is
point.
a good
That's another
style.
positive. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, she does look good in that cat.
Cat and Ape, my favorite.
You know what I mean. And her color scheme is nice as well. I can agree with you on that. Negatives is that I think she's a terrible friend and does not deserve Starlight in the slightest, and Starlight could do it a lot better. For example, with Sunburst, but that's fine. That's another podcast. We've talked about it before. Okay, so we've got 2 for and 2 against really on this podcast, which is a nice mix as we get further into this. So we'll start with some early Trixie before her Reformation. We'll go in chronological order in this one. So her first appearance was obviously Ghostbusters, one of the first antagonists in the show, I guess, after Nightmare Moon. Season 1, episode 6, she appears. She's very arrogant, boasting about her incredible magical powers and how she can beat everyone. Twilight's terrified that her friends are going to hate her because she's good at magic, even though, she's the element of magic, and her friends should probably know this already. But what were people's opinions on Trixie at this point? I'll give this to you, user, first. What were your opinions on Trixie when you first saw that episode, Ghostbusters?
Well, she had a magnificent stage performance. I thought she was very good at that. I thought she was treated unfairly because a lot of her arrogance and whatnot was actually a performance. And then you have someone like Twilight and, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Sorry, I choked on something here. Anyway, yeah, I liked her. I liked her cocky, arrogant performance. I didn't when I first saw that. I didn't think at the outset that was how she really was. The vast majority of the time, I again thought it was just a performance. I thought Sips and Snails ruined a lot of the future perception that people have of her because people are blaming this on Trixie, but I mean, Sips and Snails kind of forced this whole thing on her where, they basically indirectly called her out on her abilities, and I don't think that was cool. But I thought it was a good first performance from her. Sephisto doesn't necessarily agree. He thinks Magic Duel is a better showcase, which I agree. But I think it's a good first introduction for her. I only wish she was in season 2 and maybe a couple of other episodes before going for the duel with Twilight.
I feel like that would be your opinion all the time. If only we could have more Trixie. If only Trixie could just replace Twilight. We'll have a new main 6. That'd be a great show.
That's what I've been wanting since the show's inception. Yeah.
This is the new Gen 5 concept, Trixie.
Trixie, and everyone else is just changelings pretending to be Trixie. That's
Exactly.
the entire show. Okay, Hithroc, what about you? So you binge watched the entire series, but and you didn't really get to form much of an opinion before you finished everything. But what did you think about Trixie when she first appeared in the show?
Well, when I saw her for the very first time, I thought she was not a unicorn. That was kind of like an episode plot. Like when she was the first moment we see her, she shortly after lifts up her head with her magic, and I thought that is going to be the episode plot, that she's not a unicorn and something weird happens. But beside that, I kind of agree with User that most of her arrogance and everything was part of the performance, and Main 6 kind of ruined the performance, in my opinion, because like when you go to a magic show, you don't sit in the first row and say "boo-hoo, fake magic." You just watch the performance, and you like it or not.
So the main 6 are the real antagonists here.
Yeah.
I do actually like what you brought up there, though. That could have been a plot that she wasn't a real magician, because then that could explain why she's so much into stage magic as well. Because she's doing what she can with magic because she really loves the idea of magic, but can't do magic because she's not a unicorn.
That was like my very first impression. Like, I just remember what I felt when I watched the episode for the first time. But beside that, yeah, I agree much with User that most of her arrogance and boasting was part of the performance. And like, you see that in the real life magic shows. You see pretty much the same thing. It's a normal thing for stage.
I mean, she's still pretty arrogant outside of her performance.
Yeah, she is.
All right. So that's some decent stuff. Spone, do you wanna take the lead for the next episode?
Man, I want to give my opinion. Come on.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Not
Yeah,
even
I forgot
giving
we
me a
have
chance.
opinions. All right,
Yeah,
fair enough.
I forgot we had opinions. It's all right.
We're not allowed opinions. We're just supposed to click record and ask people questions.
Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. Job description.
Go on then, Spone. What is your opinion on?
I would say, I mean, for Ghostbusters, but also Magic Duel, I think that Trixie was a much better character when she wasn't trying to be the good guy. It would be like, I feel like she is just better set as being the fucking problem in an episode, more so than like trying to work and help. But that might just be me. Although I also like the point that he brought up where saying, like, they kind of just interrupted the show and, like, you know, they're ruining the magic show. And I agree at that point. Like, that would have been their problem. However, the way that, like, Trixie kind of escalated the problem by, like, challenging and stuff just made it kind of worse. So I feel like at first it was most definitely the main dying, hang on.
Everyone's
main
joking.
6 fault.
When
I
are we
know,
gonna
right?
have a live death on the podcast? That'll make things interesting. Bring the views.
I'm
in.
waiting for it. But basically, yeah, like Trixie, the fact that she was you know, kind of antagonizing it forward didn't help any, and I feel like at that point that's where her character flaw caused most of the problem.
So, main 6's fault initially, but it's still Trixie's fault no matter what.
Yeah,
Like-
basically, because like they ruined the show, yes, but I feel like Trixie could have handled it better instead of like making it out to be this huge thing and then making everybody have these expectations from her. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, you know, you get called out, you can always just be like, oh, you know, yeah, you don't call me out, that's not cool. You know, you'd be like, yeah, hey, I just do this is my job, this is what I'm doing. You know, maybe bring him around back, talk to him. But instead, she goes and like just she keeps lying, you know. She has to keep digging herself into a deeper hole.
I like this opinion. It's not kind on Trixie, which means it's a good opinion.
It's not that I dislike her. I just liked her better when she was, because like at this point she's not meant to be good. You know, these flaws are like things that are moving the thing forward. It's good.
You much preferred her as an antagonist then. Okay.
I did. I thought that she was like really good at that, because like the arrogance is just it's good. It's really good for a villain to just be like not directly evil, but like still be kind of relatable. And I felt like she did a really good job there, being like, someone who's boasting about shit but can't back it up.
Alright, we're definitely going to focus on whether she should have indeed been reformed or not later.
I can't wait.
But yeah, you mentioned Magic Duel. Do you wanna take that one away?
Oh man, Magic Duel. Honestly, Magic Duel. I really liked her first appearance. Magic Duel I felt was kind of not as good, mostly because it just had like the amulet thing, which I don't even know. Did we ever even see the amulet again?
I don't think so. I think
because it just felt like a one-off kind of plot thing that could have been interesting to bring back at some point. But instead, they're just like, oh, we need to make her more powerful because she kind of sucked ass last time.
Sakura hid it, didn't she? So maybe she just did a really good job. Maybe they didn't want to bring it back, but then they couldn't find it, so...
Oops, I forgot where I put it. But yeah, no, I did like the episode, and I felt like it had a good point to it. It's just, it kind of felt like they had to buff up Trixie for artificial reasons, just so that she could compete with Twilight.
Yeah. That's a fair one.
I felt it would have been cooler with more tricks, more so than actually just making her like powerful. Like some more elaborate ruses compared to just, hey, we have this thing, wear it, and now you become strong.
So more of the 200 IQ plays rather than some soul-sucking amulet that makes her OP.
Yeah, and I feel like if she was gone for so long, she really would have been able to do that. Get a plan going.
Yeah, that would have been decent.
She told your story during that episode.
Okay, what was the story?
Well, the story that everyone was mocking her and she had to like work really hard to earn some bits.
Oh yeah, then she took up some labor on the rock farm, didn't she, to try and help earn some
indeed.
So really, she got broke after being humiliated, and then went to go take it out on Twilight.
Exactly.
I thought it was cool that they brought her back. I was just like, it's that person from season 1.
I love reoccurring like villains is great. I like that.
Yeah, especially when they're not defeated. Like Chrysalis appearing yesterday.
Yeah,
that was a
most
nice
recent.
one.
I'm still waiting for Lightning Dust to come back.
Still waiting. You and two.
Still waiting.
Sure.
And User, man.
She needs to come back. Yes.
All right, I didn't realize that this was such a universal opinion. Honestly, if it wasn't for you three, I'll just forget who she was.
How dare you?
Hithroc, I went to User first last time, so I'll go to you first. What was your opinion on the Magic Duel? So, again, you binge watched them, but there's this character all the way back in season 1, like 30 episodes ago, appearing again.
Yeah, but it didn't feel so long ago because I was watching everything quite fast.
Okay, so this character you saw 2 days ago, they've reappeared.
Saw it yesterday. Oh my god, they brought him back.
Yeah, pretty much that.
How much of an opinion have you formed at this point? Did you already have Trixie there as a potential candidate for your best pawn? Or were you still just...
No, I wasn't thinking of anyone in particular until I watched the whole thing. And even then, still kinda undecided. Leaning towards Trixie and Sweetie Belle.
Yeah, both. Well, one of those is a good choice. So what did you think of the episode? What did you think about how they handled Trixie there?
I like the irony that they defeated Trixie with tricks. That was a nice irony.
Yeah, I never thought about that way. That's pretty funny.
I honestly find that kind of sad because like her name's Trixie. She's supposed to be a trickster, and like she just got out tricked. It's good irony, but also it's kind of sad because it's like I expected better from her.
She should be the one that can easily recognize these tricks.
And that taught her a lesson. So.
You're not good at anything. Even your name isn't what you're good at.
No, don't wear soul-sucking amulets.
Well, yeah, you know that too.
Soul-sucking amulet clouded her ability to tell tricks.
Yeah, I kind of thought that just kind of came, logically, like, should I work with like demon magic? Most people would probably say no.
Yeah, but she really wanted revenge,
She really wanted it. Yeah,
after you get humiliated like that, you probably do want revenge.
Made me go work on a rock farm.
Okay. So...
it's a good point.
User... okay, sorry.
Okay, sorry, yeah. I just wanted to say that, like, I think the revenge was well justified.
The revenge
Like
was well justified.
her intention to revenge was well justified.
Yeah, I can't argue there.
Yeah, they did. I like that they went into it at the start of that episode, just like, oh yeah, she's not happy. She is like poor. She's had to humiliate herself. Yeah, it sort of had a little backstory to it, which made the revenge more believable, which I enjoyed. Okay, yeah, so I'll throw this to User again now. What about you, User? What did you think of this Magic Duel episode? So you mentioned some of Seth's thoughts that he preferred this one. What about you?
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why he preferred this one more. A lot of what was said already is stuff that I agree with. I mean, after season 1, her career was ruined. And it all started indirectly with the main 6 during season 1, and she didn't have the character development at the time to do the right thing. So when her career's ruined and she tries to save up as many bits as possible to purchase a really powerful amulet of revenge, I mean, even though now I think revenge isn't the answer for anything, I can see her in her state at the time why she would want to go down such a path like this. I mean, she wants to get powerful and she wants revenge and she wants to enslave the entire town. Now, at the time, Trixie enslaving people, I was all like, oh yeah, take over that city. But years later, I can see that might not have been the greatest thing to do. She probably could have handled it a little bit differently, but given how it was that early in season 1, I can forgive her for doing what she did.
You could have handled things a little better instead of enslaving a town, you know.
Well, I mean, Trixie does what she wants.
Starlight.
Starlight looking at you as well.
Starlight can do that as well.
It's all right. We give them pardons.
So, what do you think she should have done? How would present Trixie have handled that situation?
Well, if she had like other friends, she could probably seek them out and have them give her advice. But she didn't really have any friends at the time. So if you're by yourself and you're that filled with vengeance, I mean, if you try to put yourself in her shoes, I mean, what other alternative could you really have thought of if you're not thinking rationally? Yeah, I mean, seek help, basically. She needed good counsel, but she didn't have any counsel, so she took matters into her own hooves. Hooves,
yeah.
Hooves.
Why is someone even selling some soul-corrupting alicorn amulet that can, like, give you super powerful magic? Why is that for sale in a shop?
Don't look too deeply into it.
The economy is crashing.
Pretty much.
Okay. Yep, fair enough.
Convenience, maybe.
The equestrian economy is going down the gutter. There's a bit of an economic crash, and people are just resorting to what they have to do. You know, Trixie's working on a rock farm. Someone's selling some soul-corrupting amulet. It's pretty sad times, but
give her the motivation to work at a rock farm of all places, too.
You thought, like, Pinkie Pie would hear about this, wouldn't you? Just like, oh yeah, by the way, you know that evil person from 2 seasons ago? She started working with my family, but...
No, as we all know, characters don't actually know about their family at any point unless they're in the episode.
That is...
Like, Twilight and her brother? Nope, didn't know about that up until, season 2 end or season 3?
Season 2 end, yeah. Season 2 finale. She just...
Yeah, finale.
Her brother pops out of nowhere.
Oh, by the way, guys, I have family. So, yeah, it's just kind of the same thing. There's some weird parts in the show where people really should know about stuff going on, especially with the most recent episode, but they don't.
Alright, so at the end of this episode, Trixie's been defeated, and she's all sad, and she apologized to Twilight, and from that moment on, really, she has been reformed, as with, like, nearly every other villain in this show. What did people think of that? Do they think it was a good idea? Do they think it was believable? Do they think that that's what should have happened with the show? I'll throw this to User again to start off with.
Well, I mean, if it was up to me, Trixie would remain evil, and Starlight would remain evil, and those two would become the best of friends, and they'd have all sorts of fun at the expense of everyone else. But since that's not what actually happened, I like Trixie better evil, more antagonistic. But good on her for getting reformed and becoming best friends with Starlight. I mean, I'm happy for her there. Either way, I'm happy either way. Although slightly, I'd prefer her to be more antagonistic. Same with Starlight.
Okay, so
Good on her for getting friends either way, though.
you would have preferred her not to be reformed. You would have preferred, oh, not so quickly. You would have preferred some more antagonistic episodes.
He wants a
Well, yeah,
combination of the two.
Like I've said in the past, I prefer like evil unicorns. So, I mean, right now, I'm not leaning in one direction a lot. Either or would work out.
Okay,
As long as
so
you got a friend.
I think that's an interesting concept, though. The fact with evil Starlight and evil Trixie being friends, because they probably would have been friends. Like, they still had rather similar personalities to create that friendship. It's just they both happened to be friends when both
Yeah.
were good, rather than when both were evil. But
I don't
Right.
know, like a big thing that brought them together though was the fact that like they both had the same kind of experiences with Twilight. They both kind of lost and had to learn a lesson and get shunned by people, you know. So I feel like that was a pretty good connection for the two to build off of.
yeah, true. So you don't think that they would have been friends?
They could have been friends, but I feel like the connection that they had afterwards, like experiencing what they went through, I feel like that was a good way to connect them together.
Okay.
You know, for show convenience. As characters, though, yeah, they could totally still be friends.
What about you, Spone? What did you take with the Reformation when she was apologizing at the end there?
Obviously, I prefer her being the villain. I feel like she's a better villain. She's not a good friend, really. They're just kind of friends because like they needed people to relate with each other. So personally, I kind of like she reminds me a lot of like Discord, except for like less entertaining because Discord's still like not fully a good guy.
Yeah, he's still a bit of a.
But he's
joker.
entertaining and he messes around more so than Trixie, who's just like completely ignorant to anything going on that she causes.
She is indeed.
So I mean that's how I feel about it. I feel like she could have been like good, but also been still considered kind of bad. But at this point, it feels like everyone's just like, oh, it's all right. She's okay, even though she's still kind of the not good character. Not good as in like not good like writing wise, but not good as in not benevolent.
So, been reformed, but still be a bit of a joker like Discord is sometimes.
Yeah. I still feel like Discord has that spot like kind of held down though. So I don't know.
Yeah,
honestly,
you don't want to step
Dylan
on
her
his
would have been better.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. And finally, Hithroc, what did you think when you saw this character that you weren't too sure of yet get the big old reformation like nearly everyone else in the show?
I have a little bit of different opinion here. My opinion here is Trixie was never really evil. She was an antagonist, but she was not really evil, and her enslaving town thing is just Amulet corrupting her. She wanted Amulet just for revenge and nothing more. But then she actually started to wearing it. It corrupted her into like doing some evil stuff. And after she got like detached from her amulet, she came back to normal again.
I mean, I'm gonna have to kind of agree. Like, I don't think that she's ever really been a bad guy, but like, she is definitely an antagonist. I really like the show, and I liked her better when she was a villain because she was relatable and wasn't directly evil. It's like for the same reason that I like the Flim Flam brothers. It's like they're relatable characters that are villains, not like someone who's just like Sombra, who it's like, no, big bad evil wants to do big bad things.
Okay, so that's a fairly interesting point. What about... So, in your opinion, Hithroc, Season 1, it was just a magic performance, and she was never really evil, it was just all part of the
In season 1, she
showmanship of the
wasn't evil
episode.
at all.
And in... What about the fact that she saved up to buy this amulet that was, like, really evil?
You didn't know it was evil, she just wanted more power to beat up
Come on.
Twilight, which is a fair point.
NG. Good people can do bad things, and that's why she was a good antagonist.
Good people can do bad things. I guess.
Yeah, like you saying Trixie is not great.
I never claimed to be a good person, Hithroc. Okay.
What about
Alright.
you, NG? How did you feel about it?
I kind of thought that they were going to write her out of the show. Just like, yep, you came back as a villain. You're now good. See you later, mate. And for 2 seasons, that
Starlight
was
came
very
back.
true. Yeah. And then Starlight came back, and she appeared in season 6. So I didn't really... Although she was alright, she was just kind of like you're a villain, sure. You appear in the show, like, twice, and then that's it. Whatever. I don't have to think about you much. So I never really did have much of an opinion on her before, other than, oh yeah, she's just that villain over there.
That one over there.
So
Look
yeah.
at that one. Pay no attention.
I thought she was getting written out of the show, and I was just like, sure, whatever. But obviously I was wrong. And we can go
It's a
into
good
that
thing
now.
you were wrong.
Well, good thing for some people, bad for others. So she's a good pony now. Starlight has been reformed. Starlight's looking for some friends, and she doesn't bond with any of Twilight's friends. She can't find a way to connect with them properly. So she ends up in the Ponyville spa, talking with this random pony, and like lo and behold, it's Trixie. And then they become good friends. So I didn't like this. Trixie did not treat Starlight very well at all this episode. Like, she said, oh yeah, I'm friends with Starlight. I one-upped you, Twilight. And then Starlight's obviously super upset at this and goes running off because she's the big sad now. And Trixie's just like, oh dear, I've screwed this up. Oh, you know what? Let's manipulate Starlight. If she doesn't become friends with me, I will literally die. I will just shoot a cannon into the manticore, and Starlight has to save me, otherwise I'll die. So that's kind of guilt tripping right there. That's kind of guilt tripping her into the friendship. I didn't. Although it was cool that they became friends in the first place, like I could see it. I was just like, oh yeah, this could be a thing. Afterwards, with the whole like shooting the cannon into the manticore thing and just trying to one up Twilight, it kind of showed that, oh yeah, Trixie's still kind of a dick, but I don't know. That's just my opinion. Let's talk to someone pro Trixie. Hithroc, what did you think about when that happened? What did you think about when Trixie became friends with Starlight?
What you said it's true, but on the other hand, think about it. You've never had a friend before. You expect like the best friendship for the first time? Because Trixie has never had a friend before. At least not the one we know of.
Is it really that hard to, like, don't tell someone to their face that you only became friends with them to one-up your enemy?
I mean, when you're like Twilight was directly approaching like Starlight at that point for missing her dinner or stuff. I don't remember. It was dinner, I think.
Oh yeah, dinner with Celestia or something. To talk about the new friends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true. That was Twilight kind of being stupid. Just like, oh yeah, be friends with all these other people instead because I don't like Trixie. So, in a way,
Yeah,
I
and
guess Twilight's also partially to blame. Yeah.
It was proving Trixie's point that Twilight was still like silently not trusting her and have not forgiven her. So Trixie like really pushed on it, and that was her mistake. That's fine because it was her first like friendship ever. Same with guilt tripping. Like, you just made a mistake. What you gonna do? You've never had a friend before.
I mean, in a way, that's something you could say, but in another way, I don't know, like, I've
Having a
never
hard time
driven a
hearing you.
lorry before, but I will know if I went into a lorry, I shouldn't try to drive on the pavement. That's just something that kind of comes naturally to people.
Yeah, I feel like Trixie's just not a good friend in general, and that's why I don't like her being the good guy, because she's just not a good friend.
Yeah.
And it's because of how her character's written. Maybe she'll become a good friend, but as is, she's just god awful at it.
Alright,
She's incredibly selfish and boastful, and it just doesn't work well for a friendship dynamic when you have to have trust and, work off of each other.
Yeah, do you wanna expand on that? We'll have a negative opinion before we go into a final positive with user.
Um, no, I think I pretty much summed it up right there. It's just she's not a good friend, especially with guilt tripping. Then again, Twilight also wasn't a good friend, but Twilight has been shown to be able to be a good friend. Meanwhile, Trixie has had maybe one good friend instance where she's done something right.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, she has reasoning for being a bad friend, but that doesn't change the fact that she's being a bad friend.
But she's learning.
Yeah, she is learning, and I hope that she gets better in time. But as is, I don't care for seeing her as a friend with Starlight just because she just manages to ruin it more often than not.
I guess.
But I do appreciate her getting better.
If she did become a better friend over time, that would be a decent character arc. But for that, we'd need more Trixie episodes, which I'm on the fence about. But
More Trixie episodes. Maybe she just doesn't ruin it. It'll be okay.
user, what about you? What do you think about Trixie becoming friends with this new Starlight that's suddenly appearing in the show?
I thought it was the best thing that ever happened to the show. I mean, it's produced one of the most popular ships of all time, but I think it's good. That's for another day. I think it's good for both of them. I like seeing both of them have friends that they can relate with. I mean, when Starlight was redeemed and all that, she became friends with the main six, but it didn't seem, she was still awkward and whatnot. It felt like she couldn't be herself. Regardless whether there was guilt tripping or getting back at whoever, I still think those two are just like play off each other really, really well. And I think it was good for both of them and good for the show. A lot of other points that have already been made, I mostly agree with, so don't really have much to add to that.
So you think they have a good back and forth between each other? So, ignoring all the aspects of if Trixie's a good friend or not, you think that they work well with each other for the show's entertainment purposes?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree there. Like, for the show purposes, it does teach you how to deal with asshole friends. And that's really good.
Yeah, that's one way of looking at it.
I'm being legit there. Like, I mean, there are going to be conflict, and who's better with conflict between people than Trixie?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, she's not a bad person. She's just really annoying.
And they do
There's a good comic relief between the two as well.
Oh yeah, and there's good comic relief.
And what about you, user? This is like you already liked Trixie by this point. You watched the shows as it was being released, so you had 2 or 3 years without Trixie. Then suddenly she's appeared again. So, what were your thoughts on that? Did you think that she was getting written out the show, or did you kind of know? Did you have like a feeling on the inside that she was going to come back? What happened to you when she appeared again? What are your thoughts?
No, I really wasn't sure until around maybe season 5. I was hearing rumors that she'd be coming back, but nothing was for granted. But after she did come back, I was happy to see a lot of people start to like Trixie and Starlight for that matter. Whereas in the past, if you like Trixie, people thought there was something wrong with you. But now, I guess it's better for all these fans to jump on the bandwagon of those two than to never like her and hate her in the first place. So, I thought it was good.
Wait, I thought the general opinion was if you like Trixie, there was something wrong with you. We went away from that.
Yeah, that was way, way, way back then, though.
Man,
like if you like Trixie in season 1, you were part of the minority.
You are the problem.
People thought there was something wrong with you. Yeah, I trust me, I know what it was like. I didn't understand why people didn't like Trixie. I kept calling them wrong and all that.
She was better back then. Bring back old Trixie.
It was kind of like Starlight then when she first appeared, isn't it? People were...
The exact same thing happened with Starlight. I loved Starlight when she first came out, but everyone hated on her until season 6.
So she was a good villain, but then when she became good, it's like, yeah, she's still good, but I liked her as a villain.
I mean, just liking or disliking in general, regardless of whether they're good or villain, good or not. Oh, that annoyed me to no end.
Maybe...
It'll always happen with new characters.
Yeah, people always be on the fence. But maybe users just inclined to like, unpopular characters. User, do you like Flurry Heart?
Absolutely not.
Okay,
Oh
okay.
man,
There's some
well,
there's some
rest in peace,
safe.
Matt. How about Zephyr
If- if
Breeze? How do you
she-
feel
if
about
she-
Zephyr?
If she grows up and becomes like a powerful like alicorn, maybe, but not as a baby. Absolutely not.
But do you like Zephyr? Is the big question.
Sorry.
Do you like Zephyr Breeze, Fluttershy's brother?
God. Oh my goodness, no.
Okay.
How about you?
Reminds me of some people I've seen at conventions, but yeah.
Fair enough.
All right,
Alright,
I can have a bit more faith in Yusa's opinion now.
NG.
Thank you.
Take this on.
How about the season 6 finale? I know that this is one of the situations where you actually liked Trixie.
Yes, so this is probably the only Trixie episode that I liked her in. I really enjoyed how she worked with the other secondary characters here. I loved Discord, I loved Thorax, I loved Starlight. So they were all in it together, and I was just like, oh my god, this is going to be an amazing episode. And then Trixie was also there, and I was just kind of like, well, 3's not bad.
I guess.
Uh,
Write it off like it's 75% good.
she had a lot of good moments that episode, like when Thorax first appeared, and Trixie was just like, oh my god, and like banging on that shield that Starlight put up, because she was just like, Trixie, just shut up. But she's never seen
Yeah.
a good changeling before, so it was kind of funny. And she used her abilities well, her power and
Yeah.
cutie marks, obviously show magic, and she put that really well with all the smoke bombs infiltrating the hive.
And
Like,
she was actually helpful.
yeah, it probably would
She
not
did
have
something
worked
good for the
if
episode.
she wasn't there. It probably would not have worked. She was well incorporated into it. She sacrificed herself for the good of her friends. She,
Didn't see that one coming.
yeah, but it was a good act by her. It was a good act of friendship that Trixie has done. It was very selfless. I mean, I don't know why she couldn't have run away as well. I don't know why she had to like handcuff herself to the changeling clone. That probably wasn't the smartest idea, but that doesn't matter. I thought she worked wonders in that one.
No, yeah, I agree. But would you like to pass it on to either or?
Who did we start with last time? We started with.
Start with
Hithroc.
user.
No, with me, yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. So we'll throw it to user this time because we'll throw it to user again. What did you think of the season 6 finale and Trixie's role in it specifically?
Oh, I just loved it. I loved seeing her get so much attention and having such a big role, but most of all, her learning a lot that episode, I think. She worked well with everyone, and yeah, probably one of her best episodes.
What did
Yeah,
you
she
think
just
she
needed
learned?
like
Oh, to trust others and to face your own fears.
Nah, he makes a good point. I do feel like she learned a lot there in those episodes. It just kind of took like an apocalypse for it to happen, but she did learn. And you know what? If that's what it takes, then there you go.
Was that the only time that Trixie's interacted with Discord as well?
No.
Yeah, well,
I
I
shall
mean, other people know.
Celestial advice.
Oh yeah, okay. So was that the first time that she's seen Discord? Because how does the news get around that Discord has been
Yeah.
reformed? Like, oh my god, it's the literal being of chaos. People would be kind of afraid at first, but just pretty chill at his arrival. So was everyone really, but
I mean, you know, once the entire town's taken over by changelings, I guess you kind of just stop caring.
as long as you're not a changeling, that's fine.
Yeah. As long as you're not like dead or anything, I guess it's all right.
I
Could
did like
be worse.
the changeling test they did that episode. Just like, how do we know you're not a changeling? And then just boom.
Yeah.
How did they check if Trixie was a changeling? Or did they? Oh, Starlight
They
asked
just knew.
the question, didn't they? Like, what did I tell you when
Yeah.
something or other? Yeah. Okay. All right. Hithroc, throwing it to you finally. What did you think of that one? What did you think about
Well-
Trixie's role in that finale?
Everything's said before me, but yeah, I really like that. Like it was a cast of secondary characters, not the main ones. It was kind of interesting to me, and like seeing Discord, Trixie, and Starlight and Thorax was really fun. And I really like that they managed to do it without magic, like with magic tricks, smoke bombs, and distraction. That was really great.
Oh yeah, the magic was barred, wasn't it? They
Yeah.
had the plot device of the throne, which meant non-changing magic.
The plot device,
Yeah.
yeah.
And also the stand-up comedy was great. But it's not related to Trixie.
Not related to Trixie, but it was still good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Discord had his thing. Yeah, okay. So some decent.
But yeah, I would say definitely season 6 finale, probably her strongest point in the episode, like all episodes, as like a good character.
So universal opinion then, 4 for 4, that in that episode Trixie was great. Trixie was amazing.
She was good. She didn't do bad.
She didn't do bad. Okay.
And that's good enough for me.
When it comes to Trixie, that's good enough.
Honestly, it was an improvement, so that's good. And then we went to season 7, and that all got thrown out the window.
Yes, all bottled up. That was. Oh, that episode annoyed me a lot.
Yeah, that episode hurt.
It's literally 2 episodes after Trixie's best episode. There's a hiatus. How do you say it?
Hiatus.
There's one of those in between.
Hiatus.
There's a hiatus in between. But 2 episodes after, Trixie's suddenly a terrible friend again. She teleports the map away. Starlight's just like, oh my days, like what the hell is going on? I had to do all these things, and now we have to like go find this map. And Trixie's just like, whatever, it's not my problem. When it very much is, and she does not show much care at all towards her friend Starlight, despite literally being willing to sacrifice her life 2 episodes ago. So I'm gonna take some convincing.
Listen to defend this.
Yeah, I'm gonna take some convincing to think that this isn't the worst appearance of Trixie and the worst she's ever been in the entire show. But Hithroc, you want to try and convince me otherwise?
Yeah, it was my favorite episode before Common Bond. How about that?
Oh my god. Alright, no, we're done here. That's it. Podcast over.
We've
Throw the whole thing out.
we've just hit 56 minutes. That's a decent time. Alright, thanks for
You
watching,
gotta throw the whole
guys.
thing out now. Alright, explain yourself.
So first of all, teacups. Second of all, like what you said is true. She was careless, but she didn't know about that Starlight was freaking out. That was kind of the whole point of the episode, and it was like its resolve in the end. So I don't think the point like, oh, she just didn't care about those things. This point is not valid in my opinion, because that was the whole point of the episode, that she didn't know that Starlight cared so much and was angry at her. That was the episode's lesson.
Starlight had feelings for Trixie, but Trixie did not return them.
NG, if I saw you stabbed laying on the ground bleeding out, would you want me to ask if you wanted me to like call you an ambulance first?
Yeah, I mean it's nice to get people's consent with that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Like, you're like, hey, yeah, you want me to call an ambulance? I know I can see that you're dying, but honestly, I don't know if you're dying, so I need your confirmation if you're dying.
Yeah, I mean I might be
That's
carrying
kind of how I saw that. It's like you should have really known that this is a problem, considering she's like freaking the fuck out and getting really angry. And I felt like maybe if you had any sort of like social awareness, you could kind of tell that she was not happy.
But we know that Trixie is not really social aware.
Yeah, I know. But that's why I don't like her. Is because she's just so oblivious to all the shit that she causes wrong.
But she's not really.
Yeah, you're not really helping right now. You're like, yeah, Trixie's my favorite character.
Yes,
what about like her being
flaws.
terrible at friendship? Oh, that's just part of her character.
That's just part of her character. But she's supposed to be good, and it's hard to like someone that's supposed to be good with people when they aren't.
Well,
it's just she's so oblivious.
Starlight is very similar. Starlight was also supposed to be good after she reformed, and she was not at first time, and now she's good.
Yeah, no, she's gotten better. Trixie, she's taking a very slow time. Maybe if she had more episodes, we get rid of the mod episodes. Put Trixie
but
in.
what you're saying, we need more Trixie episodes.
I'm not shitting on. I'm saying we just allocate her episode to someone else.
If a more episode gets scrapped for a Trixie episode, I will be severely pissed. But alright, what about that's the episode where Star Treks became like semi-canon, isn't it? But that's fine.
Do we have to talk about it? Can we not talk about it? Just let the awkward silence
That's another issue. User, what about your opinion on All Balled Up?
Oh, all bottled up? Well, I'm not going to be like a complete Trixie apologist here. I think Trixie was a little bit too oblivious
Oh my god,
with
thank you.
Yes.
what was going on. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter how social you are. I mean, things like that should be innate for everyone to realize. Also, teacups. Lots and lots of teacups. That was a pretty good meme.
Teacups. Everyone in the
It
teacups.
was a good meme. That it
Yeah.
was.
I pretty much paid no attention to the what I'm going to call the B plot of the main six going off on that retreat or whatever it was. But
I forgot that was that episode. Yeah, that was terrible.
It was
Well, it wasn't
the
bad,
song
but
that
it
you
was
loved,
funny.
though, wasn't it?
I mean, but yeah, it was still so like adorable seeing Trixie like be oblivious nonetheless though and start like angry. I'm thinking to myself, that is like Trixie's being a bit overkill with the obliviousness, but I still liked it to a degree though.
Yeah.
Especially with how it ended, especially with how the episode ended.
Yeah, for plot convenience, I will say they did a good job. I just really feel like they kind of wrote her character and just bastardized it for the convenience of the episode.
I mean, it did
It's
teach
like,
you good.
yeah, we're gonna make her not like able to tell anything.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I had a good lesson. I would agree.
yeah, it did teach you a good lesson. The whole how to deal with your friends when
Being awful.
yeah,
And
when
why
they're
not
being
use
a bit
Trixie?
awful.
Because she's good at that.
Did was that red mist that Starlight produced? Was that like visible, or was that just a representation for the
Visible,
purpose?
visible anger.
Invisible
I wouldn't say it was invisible. Like each time the smoke was produced, Trixie wasn't looking at Starlight, so she didn't see it ever.
Oh, really?
Okay.
That's a
Yeah.
decent little detail there. And I believe you, because you seem like the one that would watch this episode about 7 times to get all the little
He
details
analyzed
of
it multiple times just to be able to defend it.
Trixie.
I mean, even in the shop when Starlight was producing the smoke again, Trixie turned around just for that moment to eat the nut.
to eat the nut.
Eat the nut.
Yeah, I don't remember what they were called.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Cinnamon nuts, I think.
Cinnamon, yeah, I think something like that.
Yeah, we have to be careful with our wording here. So go on, NG.
Come on, Spain. This is a PG-13 podcast.
Go on, NG. Take it away.
Okay, so that's kind of all the significant episodes where Trixie appeared and did something major. We've already mentioned a lot about Starlight and Trixie's relationship, haven't we? We haven't missed out on anything here, have we? It's been covered fairly well by the episode discussions.
Changeling?
To change a changeling. I guess.
I want to. Yeah, there is that as well. We could bring that one up.
Alright, I don't really know what to say on this one. In my opinion, nothing significant happened there with Trixie's character. But, I don't know. Do either of you want to take this away? Hith, you brought it up. Do you have anything to say about it?
I just said that we did forget it.
Well, okay.
Well, yeah, we forgot it, but like, what do you want to talk about?
I personally like All Bottled Up more than this episode, than to change a changeling. And yeah, I don't think I have a strong opinion about it.
Yeah,
This is why we didn't have it as a talking point.
She was just kind of there as a character. She didn't do much.
Yeah.
There was
Trixie's
no-
been showing up a lot more as like a secondary kind of like, oh yeah, Trixie's here as well. Like she
Yeah.
showed up in the one where like Sunburst like came to town or whatever and talked with Starlight, and they were trying like they're supposed to be hanging out, but then he went and saw all their friends instead.
Yeah.
And, like Trixie was there, but wasn't like any major character. So I don't
It was cute.
Not really much to be said
the
there.
whole. It was cute. The whole Sunburst and Trixie thing, like Sunburst being
Oh, yeah.
interested in Trixie's magic. And
Oh. The fact that Trixie's able to actually talk to other people now and possibly make new friends, that's good.
True. That
Yeah,
is
we-
actually a decent development, isn't it? That she's actually starting to make different friends.
We need to see Trixie interact more with other ponies. That's what I really want to happen.
Who in particular? Anyone in
Sweetie
mind,
Belle.
or is that just because you like Sweetie Belle, or do you think they would work well together?
Ah, yes, my favorite characters to interact: Sweetie Belle and Trixie.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm-
fair enough then.
No, I don't think it's because Suitable is my second favorite character. I don't have any other like argument either, so I don't know.
I think they work well together, although their characters don't really have
No,
much
no,
to
I
play
don't
through
want
with each
to.
other.
I don't want to interact. Like, I just want to see some interaction, like just a little bit. Even like a line exchange would be good enough for me.
All right, just
And you're
something
not
like
asking very
in the
much, but
background of the
fair
episode.
enough.
What about you, user? What do you think? Either with To Change a Changeling or Trixie's interactions with Sunburst or her general starting to make different friends.
I think starting to make different friends is always good character development. The Change of Changeling I saw as more of a filler episode of sorts.
Exactly.
Yeah, she was kind of like a spike in that episode in the sense that she assisted the plot, but nothing happened with her.
Yeah, she was pretty cute when she said things like teleportation spell, go, teleportation spell, go. But getting back to something we were talking about earlier, the whole all bottled up thing is I was at BabsCon I was at BabsCon when that episode was going down. And when Trixie said that line, that's when the whole place just erupted, and that's when it was canon. But yeah, moving on. Change. Good episode. Always nice to see more Trixie, but it was mostly filler. I don't really have much to say about it.
Yeah. Anything about what about the time Sunburst? That's Sunburst.
Sunburst, stars, sun, light, the glimmer. That one.
I don't care much for Sunburst.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's
at all.
It hurts.
That's a low
my
blow.
soul.
All right.
Fair enough. You've been shitting on his character the whole time, so you know.
Yeah, I can take this. I'm a big lad. I can postpone crying for at least another like 20 minutes. One final relationship that I'd like to talk about. There were some interactions between Twilight and Trixie because they were obviously the main sort of enemies before, and even after the Reformation, they're still not. They don't seem to be on friendly terms at the very least.
You know, their relationship is like incredibly unique with the show, and I actually really like it. It kind of teaches you that while you may not like people, you can still be friends with people who have, you know, friends that you don't like.
Yes, I think.
And that's a good lesson.
That is a good lesson, and it's a good thing to have in the show. That like they don't interact, and when Twilight is in a room with Trixie, Starlight's there. Like that's always something that happens. There's not too much to be said here. Like, user, do you have anything to say on Twilight and Trixie's relationship?
I mean, you don't have to be best friends, or even friends with someone really, as long as you can work well together. Twilight and Trixie's personality they're just not compatible. I mean, this goes with real life as well. You can work well together with people, but you might not be good friends or friends at all with someone. And that's not necessarily no fault of either of you. It's just the fact that your personalities just don't align with each other. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I think that's an important point to make. Hith, anything you want to add on this before we go into our final topic?
No, I don't think I can add anything.
Yeah, it's a fairly small point. And yeah, TLDR is basically just it's an important addition to the show that isn't focused on too much, but I think it's nice to have in there.
It's just neat to have that in. Like, you know, you don't have to be friends with people. You can get along, but you know, you don't have to make friends with everybody, and that's good for a show about friendship. Saying, not all friendships work.
Yes, it's not. The whole planet is not going to be 7 billion people minus one being friends with 7 billion.
You cannot love and tolerate literally everyone.
Oh God, not the. What is this? 2011? You weren't even around for that, Spone.
Hey, all right, I can still make jokes. Anyways, NG, where do you want Trixie to go? Huh? What do you want from the future of worst character for you?
I want her to not be a dick. I want her to evolve to the point where she could be friendly with anyone. Like how she interacted with Sunburst that episode. I would like that to be more of a regular thing. Yeah, a normal thing. I would like her to care about Starlight. I would like an episode where Starlight is in some sort of distress, and Trixie is the one that actually helps her. Trixie's the one that notices Starlight's distress for whatever reason, some plot reason in the episode.
It actually happened before.
Has
It
it?
happened in season 6 finale when Starlight visited her town again, and everyone started pushing her, and Trixie helped her escape from the pressure.
I guess, but since then we've had All Bottled Up, which threw all that out the window.
Threw it all out. You had some development, now it's gone.
Yeah, like. It
But
was
yeah,
kind
no,
of...
yeah,
They could have been in the
season finale,
opposite
where it was
opposite
best.
way round. If All Bottled Up and the season 6 finale were the other way around in terms of airing,
Yeah, they were.
it would have made more sense.
Yeah,
And I probably would be
I felt
happier
like-
with Trixie State.
yeah, character went backwards there, but you know, they were good episodes. They're just wrong order.
Yes. Who did we start with last time? I keep forgetting.
I don't know, just pick one.
Alright.
You got this.
Hith, you're next to me on the list. What about you? Where do you want Trixie to go before G4 ends?
Well, I agree with you, like, be more friendly to everyone. And, like, as I said before, I'd like to see Trixie interact with more ponies, like, in general.
Wants to see
Because,
interaction between Sweetie Belle and Trixie. Make it.
I mean,
canon,
that's the major one. But in general, that's also, like, right now, Trixie didn't interact much with anyone except Starlight, Twilight, and recently Sunburst. And that's
Yeah.
pretty much it. And that's not enough.
Yeah, you wanted to see her how she goes with different people.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. And in the case of the CMC, actually, like, because they basically just help people with their cutie marks, they can literally just be thrown into any episode or any problem, which I do like about them. Okay, in your opinion, tell me your hopes, and realistically, how many more times do you think Trixie would appear as a secondary or primary role in an episode before we're done there?
Realistic? I don't know. Before the end, what?
Before the end of
the
G4,
show?
yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I can't really speculate on that. Like, I really expected at least one episode during the first half of season 8. I didn't watch any leaks, so I didn't know. And we didn't see a single one, so that's a great disappointment. After that, I'm not going to speculate anything.
He was ready for like every episode to have her, and then like none.
I mean, by the time you get to that Apple Dash episode, that's a pretty low blow. Like, oh, I can't wait for maybe Trixie this. Why are they showing this instead?
Honestly, I like that episode, but you know that's a topic for another day.
That's a topic for another day, and an opinion that's
Topic for
incredibly wrong.
Rainbow Dash 1, where we actually destroy.
Yes, we'll just get 4 people who literally hate the shit out of Rainbow Dash. We don't need someone who likes it.
We'll only take on people who don't like Rainbow Dash.
User, what about you? What do you want to happen with Trixie before Generation 4 of My Little Pony? Friendship is Magic is finished.
Well, season 9 is going to be another 26 episodes. I think she's going to have 1, maybe 2 more appearances. I'm hopeful she'll make a splash in the finale as an important supporting character. But I agree with what was said already. I mean, either her interacting with more ponies or her playing an important role in the finale. But as far as anything more specific than that, I can't really think of anything at the moment. We'll just have to see how it goes.
Actually, I thought about one thing. I'd really like to see her get way better at magic. That'd be really great.
That too.
I mean, she's kind of slowly getting better with Starlight teaching her. I mean, she did teleport a table.
Yeah,
It
that
wasn't
absolutely
good.
great.
It
It's
wasn't
great.
good.
Potential.
It was an
implied.
improvement.
It is implied heavily that there is some background teaching going on, like, regularly with Trixie and Starlight. So, I think she could reasonably appear again, and, like, as a, you know, in the little, like, minute before the title sequence, she could be doing some decent magic. Like, Starlight could be like, okay, Trixie, do this, and then she does it. Do this, and then she does it, and it shows that she's become decent with magic. Like, I think that happened with Twilight and Starlight one episode, isn't it? Like, they were just randomly fighting each other and then teleporting around the place to test Starlight's magic. They could just do...
I think so. I don't recall, but I believe so.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so it wouldn't be too hard to do something like that again.
Yeah. I expect at least one more minor appearance, if not like an episode with her being a main character in it.
Yeah, and
At least one. I'm also expecting another mod episode because I'm used to disappointment.
shut the fuck up. Not every podcast is a shitting on more podcast. Okay.
There has to be at least 1 minute.
At least 1 minute of every podcast. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say that's up, so you can go ahead and stop now.
All right, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Anything else that... I think that's pretty much everything that we've talked about now. Anything else people want to throw out there before we go ahead and wrap this up?
I hope we get a Trixie for Generation 5.
Trixie
I
for
hope we get a
Generation
Lyra
5.
for Generation 5.
I hope we get a Pinkie Pie for Generation 5. And I'm sure Hith just echoes user's opinion on that one.
Yeah.
And a Sweetie Belle, don't worry.
Sweetie.
And Sweetie Belle.
I hope Generation
Wow.
5 is exactly the same as Generation 4. But
I
just
hope it's just the
continue.
same thing, but more.
That would be awesome if that actually did happen, just with better graphics.
Man, NG, thank you for having me on this podcast. I didn't expect to be here today.
You're welcome, Spone. Like, no worries about that one. But
No worries. Will I see you next week?
well, maybe, unless, I die.
Maybe. All right.
But yeah, thank you very much for User for joining us today, part of the EQD admin team, and Hithroc for coming all the way from main chat.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, always ready to talk about Trixie.
And that's why I brought both of you. So yeah, thank you for listening to everyone. And on that note, I'll go ahead and end this.